vision is to transform lives for learning. And what we do is bring together our core values of empowerment, enterprise, connectedness, and transformation. And all the schools in the Trust within Activate Learning all followed this vision and our core values. Within the Trust itself, there are 4 UTCs, and within that, which includes ourselves, and within that, 2 secondary schools and a studio school. And we're probably what we call sub-regional, and we cover the Thames Valley area, from Oxford through to Swindon and all the way down to where we are in Northwood at present. Our learning philosophy, so as part of our learning here and as part of our tutor programme and our development, we talk a lot about the brain and emotions and motivation. And our learning philosophy is embedded throughout our curriculum in the development of those soft skills, those word skills, and actually how we learn and our emotions and how we are motivated at present. Here, we're supported by Brunel University, and we are supported by lots of global employers, such as Morgan Sindall, who you will hear from later, Stantec, Heathrow Airport itself, and other employers. And within that, we develop practical projects which employers are involved with, and the students take part in throughout the year. From this, they get really rounded quality education, that they get the technical skills, the practical skills, and the employer engagement, which gives them the best opportunity so they can move forward into any job or an apprenticeship or degree. Our general day itself is very simple. We start at 8:30 every day and we finish at 3:30 all the way through the week. We wear business dress, so that's a dark suit, shirt and tie, and dark shoes, which go along that. The reason we have this is actually when we meet employers and when we go for employee engagement, is that part of that is showing the first impressions, and those first impressions last. And it's the first thing an employer will see. And actually, dressed appropriately and looking smart is one of the key aspects that we try to promote. I'm going to pass you on to my colleague, Jasmine Keller, who's the assistant principal, who's in charge of Key Stage 4. And he's going to talk a little bit about the pastoral system and how the UTC functions within Key Stage 4.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. I'm just going to talk you through the pastoral system and also a typical curriculum for Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5, and also a timetable. In Year 10 and Year 12, the students are all assigned to a tutor group. They'll have a designated experience form tutor, and within that program there is a personal professional development, which is 1 hour per week, and also they will meet their tutees 10 minutes each day, Monday to Friday. Each of the year groups, Year 10 and Year 12, will have their tutor, which is the first port of call. Within all 4 year groups, we have a pastoral support manager who liaises with parents and tutors, works very hard and supports them as best he or she can. We have an assistant principal who's also assigned to, one assistant principal is assigned to Key Stage 4 and the other one is assigned to Key Stage 5. I'm the one who's assigned to Key Stage 4 currently. This is a typical timetable for Key Stage 4. You can see, as Mr. Edwards mentioned earlier, it uses a 6-period timetable. There's 2 periods in the morning, just after tutor time, which tutor time is 10 minutes. Then you have a break time, which is 10:40 to 11. Another 2 periods, lunch for 30 minutes, and then 2 more periods in the afternoon. Within our Key Stage 4 curriculum for years 10 and 11, there are 6 core GCSEs. We have English, GCSE English Language, GCSE English Literature, GCSE Mathematics, and then the 3 sciences, biology, chemistry, and physics. Our specialisms are engineering, information technology, so the students will do a level 2, which is a GCSE equivalent qualification in both engineering and information technology. The two subject options that we have that students have to choose from are, one is computer science and one is GCSE design technology. I'm just going to hand you over to Mr. Wilkins, Ian Wilkins, who is the assistant principal also, and he's in charge of the 6th form. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keller. So in Key Stage 5, the 6th form options, the first option that we look through is the A-level pathway. So currently this year we're doing A-levels in maths, physics and computer science. The entry requirements for those are that they have to have 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, with a 6 in the chosen A-level option. And obviously we need a 6 there because that's their the subject that the students want to specialise in. So expect to see some good results from those at GCSE level. And then the other option we have through the school, and this tends to be the one that most of the students will end up opting for, are what we call the technical pathways. Everything we do at the school is worth 3 A-levels. So if you did the previous options or any of these options, you'll end up leaving the sixth form with 3 A-level options that can get you to university or can get you to apprenticeships. But we can combine A-levels with certificates or the diplomas. So the first example at the top of the screen there, we have the extended certificate in engineering IT, and then 2 other A-levels. And as we go down, we do the diploma with 1 A-level, or you can do the extended diploma in engineering or IT. And that gives us the equivalent of 3 A-levels. For this option, we look still for the 5 GCSEs, but a 5 in maths this time, because we want to make sure that the students have that capability. Obviously, with the situation at the moment and calculated grades, we will start to think about considering students that only get a 4 in their maths for this option. So this is a typical Key Stage 5 timetable. This is an A-level option, so you can see that we run the same sorts of times as the Key Stage 4, but we have study breaks in there. So each of the A-level blocks, if you like, so maths or physics or a certificate, has 5 lessons during the week. We make it 16 in total because we have our pastoral support group, the PPD lessons. And alongside that is the technical pathway. So this is the sort of timetable that a BTEC student might have mixed inside there. The thing with the study periods is we need you to make sure that you understand that they are not free periods. They are times where we have non-contact, but you are working on assignments or working on your individual projects and things that you need to work from there. And I'm going to hand you over now to 2 people. The first person is one of our students, Nawazi, and the second person is Julie, or Mrs. Fisher, as we have to call her, as one of our parents. Thank you.
Moving from a school full of students and friends to a place that was unknown and new was a big move for me. I left behind a lot of my closest friends and teachers that I had known for years. But joining this school was the best decision I made. I was welcomed by teachers and staff every morning and greeted by the receptionists, which put a smile on my face even when I was feeling in my dullest days. A building yet simple, so stylish and modern. From the first day of that warm welcome, I knew this was the place for me. The atmosphere was so professional, unlike any other school I'd seen. They treated me as if this was the big world. A world I felt I was not ready for. Receiving my timetable was so exciting. As I looked over to see where my lessons were, I then realized how easy it would be to get around. No confusing and twisty paths. In each lesson, the teachers are super supportive of each and every student. They make sure that our work is done to the best of our ability. They also help us to manage deadlines and ensure work is submitted on time, just like in the big industries. As well as our lessons, every week we have a personal development session. This gives each student the chance to enhance and develop the skills they feel weak in, as well as recognize their strengths and weaknesses. We also have universities like Brunel come and give advice on how to complete UCAS applications, with top tips for completing our personal statement. As well as this, we also have the opportunity to work with big companies such as Fujitsu, Heathrow, Atkins, and more during pipeline days, where we gain new skills and learn more information about the way the company works. Not only does our school have one of the best engineering facilities, we also get the chance to use them after school during projects such as build a plane and competitions within the Royal Navy and Army, where we have the opportunity to compete with other UTCs. Joining these sessions opens up more opportunities for yourself and builds a greater knowledge within your mind. This school has helped me grow into the confident person I am today, because 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been here to speak to a crowd. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had the skills I have now.
Good afternoon. My daughter is about to start in Year 12 at UTC Heathrow. She joined in Year 10, having previously been homeschooled her entire life. So as a parent, I had no prior experience of dealing with schools. I was very pleasantly surprised at the level of communication between the school and parents. If I ever had any queries or concerns, these were very quickly addressed either via email or with a phone call. The benefit of being a relatively small school is that the staff get to know your child pretty quickly, and your child isn't swallowed up by a school year of possibly hundreds, as they might be in other schools. As a parent, I was particularly drawn to the careers and pipeline programme that the school has. It's amazing opportunities for the students sort of as they move on to further education, apprenticeships or full-time work. Particularly if your child has an interest in engineering or computer science, then I would have no hesitation in recommending the school. It really is a place that should be experienced. As a governor, I joined the governing board in November 2018. Again, as a homeschooling parent, I was very keen to see what went on behind the scenes, as it were, and thought this would be an ideal opportunity for me to do just that. I can honestly say I have been really impressed over these last 2 years with the dedication and hard work that goes on behind the scenes to continually improve the school and give the best possible outcome for the students. Thank you.
So thank you, colleagues, for that. As Nawazi quite rightly said, she talked a little bit about our partners and pipeline days. So over the next few slides, I'm going to introduce you to Peter Jones from Morgan Sindall, who will talk through their experience and how they support us as a UTC. But the slide currently in front of you that you can see are our partners who are actively and really heavily involved within the UTC itself and are involved in all those partner projects and development of the students to get those soft skills so that they are ready for the world of work or the next stage in their education via apprenticeship or university. So I'm going to pass you over to Peter Jones, who from Morgan Sindall, who will explain how they support us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Wayne. My name is Peter Jones. I work for Morgan Sindall Infrastructure. We're a platinum partner. We work at Heathrow. We've been working at Heathrow for the past 30 years on various projects, and we work very closely with the UTC to ensure that the students that come through the UTC are fully prepared for the world of work. So we undertake projects with students to give them some experience of some of the things that we come across in our project delivery. As Wayne was saying, we help to develop some of the soft skills. So, with CV writing and mock interviews, because we know what type of things we're looking for and what employers are looking for in terms of those mock interviews. And we also offer work experience. So we give the students the opportunity of coming into our environment and understanding how they need to work in the environment that we work in, and some of the attitudes and things that we look to develop there, our own teamwork. What's important to us is we know the students have chosen to attend the UTC, and that gives the employers like Morgan Sindall a lot of confidence that the students that are coming through the UTC are interested in pursuing careers in our industry. So that's really important to us. And that's also reflected in their attitude. So again, as we've just seen from Nawazi, she's learnt a lot, developed a lot while she's been with the UTC, and she's shown some great attitudes on her presentation. So I'll now hand you back to Wayne. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. So I'm going to talk through really a little bit what Nawazi was talking about, our pipeline projects. So this is very unique for our UTC and Activate Learning Education Trust. The talent pipeline, as we call it at UTC, we developed 2 years ago, and as part of the first year of pilots that we did, we encouraged partners to engage over 4 days over the academic year. And part of that engagement was then to develop the soft skills, give them insight into their business itself, tour the facilities, what it's all about, support them in applications, and support them with mock interviews or practice sort of days and tests ready for apprenticeships or whatever they wanted to go into. And that started to thrive. So last year, we really developed this even more. And what this pipeline did itself, we worked with the partners in front of you for Heathrow Airport, Stantec, the Royal Navy, Atkins, Fujitsu, Morgan Sindall. And they chose, and really we tried to make it a bit like the world of work, that students have to apply for which company they want to try and do the pipeline for. And the companies then, what they do is look at their applications and the questions they've been asked and why they want to work with that company and shortlist them to be part of that project. And that pipeline itself is then limited to the number of students who actually take part in that for the capacity of the companies involved. So last year, the students were involved with actually going off-site. So they're actually at the facilities where these partners are working in their day-to-day activities. They were involved in some of the projects. They were doing site visits if they were going off with Babcock. And so they were at the airports, they're behind the scenes and looking how actually the company really works. And part of that development is about what we asked them to offer. And these are dates we used last year, and this is the program we did. And those students were mentored by real employers, taught a lot about the employability skills they needed for their company to be able to work together as an individual or in a team. They learned some technical skills. So they were developing, some of the students who worked with Fujitsu were looking at the technical aspects of how the cybersecurity works at the airport and supporting in projects there, and about the career briefing. So how do you apply for apprenticeship with that program? How do you work with the company? How can you get through the front door on paper to get to those mock assessment days, practice mock assessment days as such to give the students an idea of what it's like to go in those assessment days for either apprenticeship or into the employment itself. We also, as UTC Heathrow, we're part of the UTC Cyber Group. And that's a national group full of lots of the UTCs in the country. And again, we work with Fujitsu, Palo Alto, and we use a software which is industry standard software called Immersive Labs. And there's a national league table, and the universities use this Immersive Labs, and we're against students with universities. But the students here develop the technical skills. They also, as part of some of their courses they do here as part of the BTEC IT, which Ian spoke about earlier, are able to get Cisco qualifications and professional qualifications in cybersecurity. As a UTC, we also offer those professional qualifications to all our students as part of the Microsoft Office suite, as the MOS qualification, all the MTAs, and Autodesk as part of the engineering. So the students, when they leave here, are not just about the academic and the technical skills, they are also about their professional skills, those professional qualifications that they can't get anywhere else. They only get when they go into work. And actually, they are more qualified to do some things in engineering and IT than people applying for roles in employment at the moment. So I sort of tried to guess some of the FAQs and some of the questions that we have here. Lessons are 1 hour in length, and we do have lockers here, and it's a £10 deposit. As Jazz said earlier, we do breaks of 20 minutes and lunches of 30. We try to mirror the world of work as much as possible in relation to that. All our students who do engineering need to get PPE, and that PPE or what's required is going to be sent out to parents applying at the end of this week. We're just getting some requotes on so we get the best deal for our students so that they can be in the workshop. And that is generally to get a jacket, gloves, safety glasses, shoes, which they belong. And actually, it's really good. From perspective in the canteen, we use Casas Catering, so those students who've been at the secondary schools would have used Parent Pay, and the parents would use Parent Pay. But we also have a debit card, so we can tap and go within the canteen. And the canteen food is excellent. So they offer a wide range of food. The food is also allowed, so we meet all the different dietary needs that are out there. And actually, there's grab and go boxes for the sixth form and Key Stage 4 if they need to, or they can have a proper sit-down meal. And we are able to offer the drinks, and for the older students, they're able to get tea and coffee from a coffee machine as they would at a Costa or anywhere else. So really, that's it for me, really. If you're interested in a place here, our admissions procedure is very simple. So you apply online through our website, and the email will come to our admissions officer, who will contact you and ask you to fill in our admissions plus form, and you'll be contacted by either one of the sixth form tutors to talk through about why you wanted to join and what reasons are behind that and how we can support you. Currently, with the climate that we've been in, it is very difficult for everybody. So we have got a blended learning platform. We use Office 365 throughout the school, and we always have done even before the COVID situation. So we're able to offer lots and lots of questions in regards to online learning, blended learning, and we're able to offer that sort of approach as well. Other than that, there's our contact details and our address, and I'm going to open the floor up for some questions that have been posted as we've been talking through this presentation. I'd like to thank you for listening to me and my colleagues and everyone involved in today's open event and their experience. So, question and answers.
Thanks, Wayne. We've had quite a few questions in. So the first question we have is about uniform. So asking about the colour of the suit. Is there a particular colour they need to be wearing?
No, so in answer to that, it's very clear. It's a dark suit, blue, black, not pink, not yellow, not anything swaddy-waddy type, but it's, as you would going to the world of work, the uniform as such, we don't do a uniform even at Key Stage 4. We want students to look smart, and it's their choice about what suit, shirt and tie they wear, as long as it looks professional as they come to school.
Brilliant, thank you. The second question, I think this will be one for Ian. Is there a separate mechanical engineering course, or is it all one?
No, there is one course that all the students do, but within that course, we've looked at different units that they take. When the school was first set up, we quickly realised actually that the university requirements, generally speaking, just needed engineering, not mechanical or aviation or anything like that. So we just do engineering, but the units are such that the different options allow different students to experience different elements. So we have 2 units of electrical, at least 4 units of mechanical. There are 2 programming sets of units. So we have quite a broad range so that when the students finish with us and they look to go off further, then they have more choices there. Thank you.
Brilliant. A question to ask if there are parents' evenings.
Very simply, yes, we do parents' evenings. We generally do we do a new information evening for Key Stage 4 for the new year 10s and 12s round about October time. So we give a few weeks of settling in, and then we invite those parents in to meet the tutors, and then we can look at any concerns that they're having or talk through what the school and what we've done so far. And then there is a formal parents' evening later in the year, which is very much where you meet the academic teachers and talk through how well they're making progress within all those subjects.
We've also got a couple of questions on this. The armed forces. So what is the connection with the armed forces, and how do you take the armed forces road as one of the students is interested in joining them?
So I'm going to answer half of this initially, and then I'm going to pass to Ian to talk through the other aspect. So with the armed forces, we take part in something called the Royal Navy Challenge. So we talk about the Royal Navy first. And the Royal Navy have a national challenge that they set, and we make it part of their engineering course, but also those who are not taking engineering can take part in that. We're very lucky that there's 3 categories we enter, and we've won. Well, it's actually 4 categories, I apologise, we enter. And we've won 3 of them and been national champions in the development of the school. Generally, you're looking at developing a new amphibious device, and as part of that, they go to Portsmouth and they get to sleep on a Royal Navy boat, a destroyer, overnight, and they take part in presentations and a robotics challenge that is set by the Royal Navy. In relation to the Army work with us, so it's the Royal Engineers themselves, the REME, and what they're looking to do is we've won this national competition. Unfortunately, not this year. It's been postponed because of COVID, but the year before, we are still classed as the reigning champions, I believe, within that. And again, they set 4 challenges. So the real life challenges that the Army have to follow through and the REME have. And the students get to attack those challenges, work through them, come up with a scenario, come up with a answer to the problem, and then end up presenting it to the Royal Navy. And the winners of that win the trophy, but the REME, they actually take that winning project or anything they see that is real and they can use, and they will develop that as part of a solution to a real problem that they're facing at the moment. Ian's going to explain probably a little bit more. I've probably taken some of his thunder in what I've just said. So
I'm not sure there's a lot more I can say there, really. We build 2 of our units around those courses. So I was actually, what Wayne has said there, I was very disappointed with the COVID lockdown situation because I know I had another winning team on my hands. But we build the work into 2 of the units that we study. How does it directly relate to the armed forces? Well, it doesn't directly, but it would get you into the engineering cores of both of those sets. When we've had the Navy and the REME visits to the school, they have specifically been interested in the courses that we've run. And they have said that if any of our students were interested in applying, they would skip some of the practical elements of the courses that they have to do because of the level of the work that they do here. Obviously, it can take you into any level of engineering. When we go and visit, and we've done residential trips with the REME, and they look at demolition experts and any variety. The Royal Navy, it's much more about this team event, this solution to a problem. You do spend the night on a destroyer. So I've learned there that the bunk beds on the Royal Navy ships could probably be doing some redesign work if anybody's interested in that. But yeah, it's a great team building activity. It gets them in touch with the real employers. They get to do some real hands-on activities. And it looks good on your CV. You know, the national champions, we still are the national champions, in year 13 can, put that on their CV and it really sells them to any future employers. Thank you.
We've got another student here who is looking to become a pilot and has asked what kind of routes they could take at the UTC that would help them on that path.
Can I take that one straight away? Because literally today I've just done a discussion with my current year 12 groups about university courses. The engineering course actually is a very, very good way to get into pilot school without all the massive fees. I'm not going to necessarily mention a particular university, but the university we were looking at today, the extended diploma on a DMM can get a distinction merit. You'll learn all about that, the level of qualification later on. So on the extended diploma course, a distinction merit student, so somebody who's a little bit above average, could apply to, I almost said it again, the name of the university, on their pilot course. We've had a number of previous students get onto the pilot courses at a number of different universities. We've part of the CCF that we have within the school. Nawazi can talk a little bit more about that if anybody's interested. They do flight experience, so they get their pilot's license through there. And as Nawazi mentioned as well, we are building a plane in the school. So if anybody does get a pilot's license and they are interested in coming back to the school, then maybe you could be our test pilot. Thank you.
We've got a couple of questions on equipment here. So one is, what kind of computer or laptop are we expected to have if we're doing programming?
So I'll take that one. So generally for the computer program, as long as it can run Visual Studio, you're looking at an i5 processor, at least 8 gig of RAM, RAM as such. And it depends on the graphic card of what you want to do with that. For engineering, it needs to be a bit more robust. And again, we're going to send some more information out by the end of the week, and if not by Monday latest, of a laptop scheme that we're running with IT providers, where you can purchase a laptop through there. 2 different types to choose from, and payments can be spread over the time that you're with the UTC, and there's insurance with that. So actually, there's a good way of, rather than buying a laptop outright, that there will be an opportunity to work out over the time period of what that is, including the bag and everything else. So hopefully that's answered the question. It's generally an i5 processor, 8 gig of RAM, SSD drive, and a reasonable graphics card within that.
And is there any other equipment that they need to purchase? We've got another question on that.
So the only equipment to purchase at Key Stage 4, that will be their PPE equipment itself, because all Key Stage 4 do engineering. So again, it will be the jacket, glasses, safety shoes, gloves, which are their own. Rough estimates of prices, I'm still working through that at the moment. I think roughly it works out around about £75-ish at the moment. I'm trying to get the best deal I can, but more information will come out at the moment. But that is theirs. The one thing with our business dress is what we do allow students to wear is, rather than a suit jacket, because the PPE jackets are really smart with the logo on, we allow students to wear that instead of their suit jacket. So many of our students come to the UTC wearing their UTC jacket as a normal or as an alternative to a suit jacket, and they all look very smart with it, and they can use that within the engineering floor itself. And talking about the floor, where we all sat today, Jazz, myself and Ian, we are in different parts of the building. So I'm currently sat in the Fujitsu Hub. Ian is in the engineering workshop. So as you can see behind, this is a live event, and that we have a spectacular engineering workshop which is behind. And Jazz is in the front reception foyer area, so you can see what that sort of looks like as well.
The next question is a bit of a tricky one, but it's been asked, will school start as normal in September?
The answer to that is we are planning to open as normal in September. Depends on what comes out tomorrow afternoon. But officially we've been told by Mr. Johnson that we are opening up to all years, and we are planning to open up to all years. And we're planning to have new students in the school from September.
Thank you. Question on school trips. Do you go on school trips? Have you got any examples of where you go? Yeah,
we have been, and Ian will be able to explain a little bit more. So we've been on, we generally go trips to local facilities in the area here. We go to the careers fair, which Heathrow Airport hold. As part of the pipeline, you are based at the employers themselves. So they've been in central London, they've been at the airport, been at Terminal 3, Terminal 5, all the different bits. We have been abroad, and Ian can explain a little bit. We've been to Toulouse. So again, they've been to the Airbus factory there, and Ian will discuss that.
That was an amazing trip to go in the Toulouse, the Airbus factory in Toulouse was a really good experience. The main trips we run that I involve myself in are residential trips. So we do the Royal Navy trip to Southampton, where we spend a couple of days there with the engineers in the Navy. A little bit about the Navy background, but that's more looking at the actual competition. We do more really with the REME group. So we've been to stay on their barracks, and the name of the barrack has just slipped my mind, but we've been there. I took a group of students. It's basically a rewards trip. So the first trip I will run are the year 12s that have impressed me with their aptitude to engineering. So I'll take them on some sort of trip. We went there as young cadets to see what the life was like in the army. We also do the REME, the Craftsman Cup competition, where we will get together and we take the students out to the barracks, where they'll talk to live soldiers face to face and find out from them what they can redesign. As Wayne said, I have taken groups of students airside at Heathrow. I do a number of different trips around different universities. I should have mentioned that one of the other things previously with the idea about flight school is I've taken some students to other local universities to look at their offer of flight schools and things like that. If I may, while I'm answering this question, I've seen other questions that have popped up. Maybe I didn't explain it very well. So the question was about the degree courses. The question is, are A-levels mandatory, or can one choose between 2 levels and 1 certificate? Everything we do is designed to get somebody to university or to apprenticeships. So we don't limit anybody. Any option can get them to university or can get them to apprenticeships. So somebody could do 2 A-levels and 1 certificate, and that would get them to university, or they could do the diploma and 1 A-level and get to university, or they can do 3 A-levels, or they can do the extended diploma, and that would get to university as well. Thank you.
Got a question through on the travel. What are the travel links like into the UTC?
So travel links are very good. We are 450 metres exactly. We've measured this, so we know to the nearest tube station, which is Norfolk Hills, and the London transport links are very good. Nearly all of our students come in via the public transport, and it's generally on the Met Line, which goes to Norfolk Hills. It goes from Baker Street all the way up to Amersham or Watford, depending which way you're coming in. So our transport links are excellent to get to us.
Our next question, we've still got a few more on here. Just a reminder for anyone else, if you do want to pose a question, just pop it on the Q&A. When will we receive confirmation of our place due to the predicted GCSE grades?
So as I've said, and if we've spoken to you about it, we have said you have a place. That we will be able to look at those grades, whether it is a level 3 program or a level 2 program, depending on what that is. We've said to anyone who's applied to us that you have a guaranteed place. What we are doing in the next few weeks, we'll be sending accepting welcome letters, welcome emails, looking forward to, and what's going to happen on results day when you bring your calculated grades in, checking that the courses are still right related to whatever the calculated grades show on August the 20th. But either way, we'll be able to support you with a choice, either a level 2 program or a level 3 program.
I've got a question here. Are we allowed phones?
It's an interesting one, phones. It can be the bane of our lives. However, technology is something we use often. We have a very strict policy here that once you come on site, your phones are put away, because we don't ban phones because students are travelling in from various distances. However, you're only allowed to use your phone at break and lunch in the dining area, or if the member of staff asks you to get it out if they're doing a Kahoot, or you need to, in engineering, take a photo of what you've made and various aspects. But generally, phones are away. They're not seen, they're not heard, they're only out at certain times.
I think you might have covered this in the FAQs, but we've got a question to ask. How and when do we need to get a locker?
You can get one when you come here. Again, it'll be on what information we'll send out, how you can apply for a locker within there. But when you come on your first day, if you've got a locker and you've paid your deposit, then we'll give you a key for that. If you lose your key, that means you lose your deposit, because it costs about £10 to replace the key. And we'll go from there.
Brilliant, thank you. We've got one about work experience. So would the student need to get there themselves, or does the school provide transport?
Generally, with the work experience, students make their own way there, because it's part of the world of work of travelling to work. But it depends where the work experience is. This year, it might be quite different. So we're looking at virtual work experiences, because currently where the COVID climate and where we are at the moment, we can't necessarily cross-contaminate. I think that's one of the government's big buzzwords at the moment. So we're looking at how employers, and Morgan Sindall are one of these, are looking to do virtual work experience. So actually, it's a different way, but it's actually how we work in the world of work currently, because that's how work is happening and how things are taking place. Peter, you might be able to answer a little bit on that.
Yeah, so as you say, Wayne, we're all having to get used to the new normal in the COVID world. So we're having to spend a lot more time on Teams calls and getting used to, I guess, the technology that lots of younger people have been used to in their sort of young lives. But for people a little bit older, like myself, I've had to evolve and develop my sort of skills. So, but it is, going forwards, it is going to be the new normal. People will spend more time working using technology to communicate, reducing part of the long-term sort of strategies around reducing our carbon footprint, and meetings, virtual meetings is an important sort of part of that, and it'll become part of the fabric of how we operate going forward. So it's a great opportunity for everybody who's got those kinds of skills to use them in work going forward.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of questions coming in. We've got another one to ask. What role do university sponsors play?
So our university sponsors at Brunel are very good. What they do is they provide support at Key Stage 4 in English Maths. And we've used them in the run-up to examinations, and they've come in. They come and give university talks to the sixth form as a whole, come and talk about finance. They support Year 13s with their UCAS applications, their personal statements. So they did workshops on how to write those, ready for those applications for various universities, although it might not be Brunel itself, but they talk for the process. Brunel are very supportive. We're very lucky. We've got 2 members of Brunel on our governing body. So I generally ask them, what can you do to help us? And what we do is we do university visits. And we've been to Brunel over the last few years to go and visit what Brunel's like, visit the engineering, have some seminars and lectures as well.
Great. The next question is, who develops the curriculum for the technical courses? Employers, universities?
Shall I maybe take that one?
Yeah, do you want to take that one, or I can answer?
Well, the main route through the technical courses, actually, there are a lot of what's called core units. So the core units are decided really by the exam body. So I'm not expecting everybody to remember these, but units 1 to 7 are core, and they do 15 sets of units or 16 units. A couple of them are double units. So there are 7 that we have to do that are decided by the exam body. And then we've looked at 2 other units that are very popular university demands. So there's a unit called Unit 8, which is further mechanical engineering maths, which is really exciting. But the universities like that. It's an extension of the core units that they do on the maths there. And obviously we do a practical unit, Unit 41, because again, that's a really good source of engineering skills. So everybody will work on those. And then we've looked at the other options that sort of support the things that we do. So we do units that are built around knowledge of materials. So it sort of ties back to the previous answer. We've had visits from universities and visits from other sponsors, and together we've sort of mapped out what we could teach and how the universities can help us teach and what universities and sponsors want us to teach. So it's been a process of development with our partners and looking towards what courses we could offer. One thing I'd say is, although that we've chosen the units, we do a lot of after-school clubs and activities, and there are some units that students are interested in that can change the actual course content, the qualification, if you like, that students leave with. So as an example, there's one unit, Unit 46, which is the Theory of Flight unit. And last year we took a group of students over to a university and they had the chance to study for this extra unit, which would turn their engineering extended diploma into an aviation engineering extended diploma. So yeah, we've worked with other people and that's how we developed it. The main reason we've gone with this is we've tried to keep the options open. So we've got some engineering units that are pure mechanical. We've got some units that are computing and programming. We've got some electrical units in there, and obviously we have some design units in there as well, so that when the students leave us, they have the option to make their choice. They're not limited by what we've decided for them. Thank you.
Can I add to that, Stacey, a little bit? The curriculum design itself, not just in engineering with IT, is done centrally with us, but also with input from our partners and input from the universities to say what they want, what they would like, what skills they need. So Ian's just touched a little bit on the design units. We do a lot of what's called CAD, so computer-aided design. So that supports Morgan Sindall, I know in particular, and also other employers we work with. And that also supports the technical qualifications, those professional qualifications that they're able to achieve on top of it. So those are and it's the key software that they use in industry. So it's important that the students understand that, and that the skills they get there, they can use when they move forward.
We've got a question here on extracurricular activities. So what extracurricular activities are there in the college? And also, do you organise life work skills sessions like team building?
So extracurricular activities, we've got a number of various clubs. So we do astronomy as an extracurricular club. You know, we might think we might be engineering, but we also like a physics. And our physics teacher does astronomy. We do extra support lessons in our normal English, Maths and Science. We've got Build a Plane. We've got the REMA project some students do after school. They've got the Royal Navy project to practice their engineering skills. The engineering teachers run a design club. We've had a modelling club within there as well. We've got a computer club. We've got a cyber club, cybersecurity club, and the professional qualifications club. So we've got a number of various different extracurricular clubs that are going on related to what we offer. And what was the second question, Stacey? I missed that bit.
It was about, are there kind of life work skills like team building that they can get involved in?
There is, because we do. So our employers come in. So Heathrow Airport have been very kind this year. They've been in and worked with all of Key Stage 4 on a crisis management day. And part of that is that they've got to work in a team to cope with a real crisis that happens at the airport. It's a very interactive day. It's a very fun day. And it's some real nice scenarios. So, you know, they've done when the computer systems have all gone at Heathrow, how do you manage the airport? And the students with employers and the Heathrow bring in with them round about 25 employees on that day. And we've been very lucky to have all these employees in at the time who do various roles, from cyber to engineering to marketing to whatever other aspect. And there's 80,000 people employed at Heathrow in numerous jobs. So but from a team building activity, they do lots of team building stuff because they've got to learn to work as a team.
Sorry, can I just add that we also have the combined cadet force who work with the school. There's a 2-hour session on a Wednesday afternoon, and all year groups can participate. And there you get to learn lots of leadership skills, get to various activities, and you can also gain professional qualifications as well.
Quite a few questions on the uniform, and I know you touched on that at the start, Wayne, with it being business wear. Is there anything that will be sent out before September with guidance on what can and can't wear?
Yes, that's going out next week. So that's going out to all parents of like what is business dress, what can wear, and what are the non-negotiables can't wear. So trainers, black trainers, Air Force Ones, anything like that are a no-no. Within there, jeans are a no-no. It's about making sure that you are wearing the correct uniform and you are dressed appropriately.
Next question here, because I think most of the rest we can bunch together in a document after with FAQs in, because they are quite similar questions. But the one here is, do you have examples of students going into engineering degrees after their diploma, and which universities take diploma candidates?
Yeah, I'll start, and probably Ian and Jazz can come in this. All the universities take students on engineering diploma with various A-levels, or they go on to a foundation course. So we've had students go to Southampton, Portsmouth, Nottingham University, Warwick, Brunel, I'm trying to think, Hertfordshire. Ian, help me out here with all these different universities they go to.
There's just such a long list. Anybody that wants to go to university goes to university. The course is successfully completed. Is how I would deal with that. But the list is just so long. I couldn't name them all. The thing about the engineering qualification, and again, I was doing a lesson on this today with my current Year 12s. The engineering qualification is a great qualification because it shows, well, actually, the diploma, so both the IT and the engineering qualifications, they show a level of commitment to a 2-year course. You don't get these qualifications just by being able to sit an exam at the end of 2 years. So they really show that somebody is able to work hard over 2 years. We did a UCAS search today for the sorts of courses our students could get onto. And all of them do want to go to university to do engineering of some description. But I have had a student a couple of years ago who ended up wanting to do a psychology degree course. And she was a diploma and an A-level in maths student. And the diploma in engineering and the A-level in maths got her onto her psychology degree course because the level of commitment to be successful in an engineering qualification is very demanding. So yeah, I mean, without a doubt, you can get to university and you can probably get onto almost any course you want to get onto, even if it's not an engineering qualification.
We have had students apply to the Oxbridge universities, and we had a student who was offered to go to Cambridge with 2 A stars and an A. However, he decided to he got a fully sponsored apprenticeship for 7 years to become a pilot. So, he turned down university, but he got where he wanted to be in the long run.
Brilliant. I think that's all the questions for tonight, but I think if we send out a document afterwards or an email clumping those together, or the ones that have come through. Okay.
Well, once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining this open event. Hopefully it's been informative. I look forward to seeing applications if you wish to come here. My team are more than happy to speak to you on the phone or via email to answer any other questions that you may have or may not have, or any more information itself. It's a great building. Like I say, I've been principal here. This is coming to my 3rd year. And the building and the students are fantastic, and the courses run are great, and the school is moving forward all the time to become one of the best education places in London and in the country.